and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough torrential environments, so they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages.
Hello heathens, and welcome to another exciting episode of Color of Crime. We just saw Mr. Nick Cannon talking about how we white people, or the unmelanated peoples, are out there raping, robbing, killing, stealing, blah blah blah, because we don't have that melanated skin, and we came from the Caucasus Mountains, as he puts it. And so we're just going to have to correct Mr. Cannon by showing you what's been going on the last few months here. So fuck him, let's kick it off.
A woman identified by U.S. Marshals as Claudia Banton walked casually out of a car on an August night in Brooklyn, her hand behind her back. She's seen approaching this woman in a pink dress and pulling out a gun, shooting her in the head. The victim has been identified as Delia Johnson.
Lester did not deserve that.
Johnson was a single mother of a 17-year-old girl.
This was senseless.
Johnson's family described her as generous and loving.
We have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right, to the right.
And we won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today. White supremacy is terrorism.
Man is still at a hospital after someone beat him up while grocery shopping in Lancaster. This occurred yesterday. We're told the grandfather suffered several fractures, including a broken jaw.
And 2 suspects are still on the run.
Store security video captured the suspects, a man and a woman, on camera. Authorities say the man allegedly beat and robbed Lopez inside the store bathroom. They say the woman was an accomplice.
By now everybody knows who this piece of crap is. Daryl Brooks. He's the prick who took his SUV and drove through a Christmas parade last winter in December. Some say that it was a revenge attack for the Kyle Rittenhouse self-defense shooting, and I'm one of the ones who tend to agree. He's had 10 felony arrests since 1999, and I don't know why he's walking the streets other than to say it's black privilege, period. His last arrest before the attack, he got out on $1,000 bond, which you only pay up 10% of your bond. So he got out for $100 for a violent attack on his girlfriend, I guess it was. But if you look through his social media posts, you'll see that he's very anti-white. He has a huge hatred for the entire white race. And if this had been white on black, the lefties of the lefty media, they would still be talking about it. Don Lemonhead, Joy Reid, The View, you name it. they wouldn't let it rest. But since it's a black guy, a poor, innocent, helpless, underprivileged black man killed, white slave owners, they don't talk about it anymore. They fucking ignore it. But let's take a look at this piece of shit's record.
Darrell Brooks has a criminal history that spans more than 2 decades, with arrests and convictions often for violent crimes. But we've now uncovered he is also a child sex offender who has been wanted for years for failing to register, but has managed to elude police for 15 years. We obtained his mugshot from 2006, where a much younger Brooks can be seen with the same tattoo on his neck compared to his recent police photos. Police in Nevada now confirmed to CBS he is the same man accused of plowing into all those innocent people during the Wisconsin parade. According to law enforcement sources, Nevada authorities investigating his sex offender registry failure never could track him down, and no one is quite sure who dropped the ball, because his arrest record since shows he's been in and out of police custody in Wisconsin. In fact, he was found guilty in 2010 for strangulation and suffocation. Fast forward to 2020, he was charged with recklessly endangering safety with the use of a dangerous weapon, and a no-contact order was put in place by the court to protect 2 people in that case. That case is still ongoing. And less than 2 weeks ago, he was charged with recklessly endangering safety, resisting an officer, and battery, among other charges. Court records show that case is still open, and he posted a $1,000 bond last February. But no one connected the dots, and the man wanted for a child sex offense violation could have been apprehended long before this horrific, fatal crime scene.
For 2 men who opened fire into a crowded bar.
Yeah, we're learning tonight that the suspects were angry. They couldn't bring their 2 young children with them into this business. Fox 5's Lindsay Watts is live in downtown Herndon tonight with new details. And Lindsay, what a crazy story this is.
There's also video of what happened before the shooting. Herndon says the men came to the bar after 10 o'clock with 2 young kids who you can see here.
Judging by the video, maybe 6 years old for the oldest. So they were told they couldn't come in. It was after hours, so they couldn't come in with the small children.
The video shows the men arguing with bar staff with the children nearby. The alleged gunman knocks over a stool and goes on to hit someone in the face. Bar staff tell me it was an employee.
And when he stepped back from that, he pulled a gun from his waistband.
After he pulls the gun, a woman tries to stop him and others usher away the kids. Police say the men appeared to be meeting up with another group of people already at the bar. After the group leaves, police say it was only a minute or 2 before the men came back and opened fire.
We want to give you one last look at those suspects now. Witnesses tell police they got away in a gray Nissan. I did talk to a man who works here, who was here when all of this happened, and he talks about how shocking it was for everyone, especially with that close call with that bullet flying right into the building.
Here's one about a fucko named Sean Smith who walked into a high-end furniture store and stabbed a beautiful white girl to death a couple dozen times. He had just been released on a $1,000 bond for assault. You only pay 10% of your bond, so he got out for $100. Soon after that, he walked into the store and stabbed Brianna Cooper to death.
Sean Laval Smith is in custody tonight, 6 days after police say he walked into a high-end furniture store in an LA neighborhood and he stabbed Brianna Cooper to death. She was working in the store alone at the time.
31-year-old Sean Laval Smith, handcuffed and in custody, less than 24 hours after police named him as the killer of 24-year-old Brianna Cooper, the UCLA grad student found stabbed to death inside the Croft House furniture store last Thursday. A citizen in Pasadena spotted Smith and called police just before noon Pacific time. Smith has already been handed over to LAPD, and a murder charge will likely be added to his long criminal record. It includes nearly a dozen arrests stretching across the country. There's a pending case for discharge of a firearm in Charleston County, South Carolina, and arrests dating back to 2016, including for theft, trespassing, and assault of an officer. It's not clear how and when Smith wound up in California, but he was known to roam neighborhoods in West LA.
Smith is a man with a long rap sheet. A compilation of his mugshots from over the years tells the story. The wanted poster posted in the window of the business where Kupfer was murdered includes a recent mugshot with a mask under his chin.
Is there any wonder why these people end up in fucking juvenile hall and prison eventually? Doing this shit on a school bus and the parents just or the mama just laughing. This is fucking ridiculous, man. Feral animals. Sorry, call me a racist if you want, but, change the channel.
News just into the Fox 5 newsroom. Metro Police have made an arrest in the hookah lounge shooting that left one man dead and 13 others wounded early Saturday morning. 44-year-old Lee Wilson was arrested yesterday. He's been booked on 1 count of murder and 12 counts of attempted murder. Lee is being held without bail in the Clark County Detention Center. And Fox 5 has started looking into his criminal history, which does include 1 arrest for attempted murder. We'll have more on that coming up in our later newscast. Be sure to stick with Fox 5, both on air and online, as we learn more. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Let's take a look at some child murderers now. Black Lives Matter, right? These thugs, they don't give a fuck.
Gill, also known as Baby Crash Out, is responsible for shooting 7-year-old Legend Johnson. Family members say the child was hit during a drive-by shooting last month. He is expected to be okay. Family members believe they were targeted by a gang due to a dispute on social media. Police say Gill has ties to a local gang. He was arrested at an apartment on Waynoka Avenue in Binghamton Tuesday evening.
Teenager already out on bond for 1 crime has been arrested and charged for the shooting death of an 11-year-old, Darius Dugas.
19-year-old Davion Howard has been charged with shooting DJ to death as the 11-year-old retrieved his jacket from the family car at their apartment complex. Howard is in the Harris County Jail on an unrelated robbery charge that allegedly occurred Sunday at Macy's in Humble. Days before that, on February 3rd, investigators say Howard had been in another complex breaking into vehicles and was caught in the act.
Man is now charged with killing a 12-year-old boy in Inglewood. Marcel Wilson was just sitting on a bed in a house in Inglewood last month when police say Jerron Hughes opened fire. WTTW reports that Wilson had been teasing Hughes about his girlfriend. Hughes was arrested in Racine yesterday.
These 4 tough guys here attacked and robbed a white guy who just got off of work. You can't see him, but you can tell by his voice.
Sunday afternoon, an employee at Burger Culture was leaving the restaurant at International Plaza, headed to another location. The man, who asked not to be identified, noticed a group was watching him.
They're just looking at me very differently than a normal person would look at you.
At times, following a little too close for comfort. When he exited Dillard's into the parking garage,
all I heard was like heavy footsteps behind me, like someone running behind me. And then I was grabbed.
Tampa police say 4 men attacked him, striking him several times on the ground.
And they just picked me up and started beating me. They were going for whatever I had on me, so I just held on to like my pockets and I put all my body weight like over everything in my pocket.
They got away with his cell phone and money. Despite chasing them back through the mall, yelling to draw attention, police say they drove off in this dark 4-door sedan.
Normal people don't do that. You don't just attack people as soon as they exit the mall. Yeah. And in broad daylight.
The worker was left with a gash on his forehead and a swollen face from getting kicked in the cheek.
and I couldn't really like see like out of like my right eye at that time because like how swollen it was.
Looking back, he wishes he'd gone with his gut and alerted mall security at the first sign of trouble.
Random things happen to good and bad people, and it's just you just gotta constantly be aware of your environment. I'm just thankful for, you know, my breath and the fact that I'm breathing, and like that's the main thing in my time, my freedom. That's what they didn't take from me.
In Tampa, Haley Hines, Fox 13 News.
White supremacy.
News for the first time since Friday. I'm going to show you this still picture right now. It's in the surveillance video that Philly police put out almost instantaneously after getting it from the Dunkin' store when they learned that the manager who came in to open the business for the day just before 5:30 was robbed and then shot execution style, all of it captured on surveillance, sadly. And 2 days after this completely cold-blooded killing, you hope Philly police are now getting tips to know this killer's identity, and you'd hope the Dunkin' corporate leaders would wake up Monday morning and add much to the $20,000 Philadelphia government reward offer it has in every murder in this city. A killer who waited for Christine Lugo to get her keys out and go in and then get the donut and coffee chain's Lehigh Avenue store ready to start the day. In our second video, 2 different occasions, Saturday and Sunday, where all her customers and colleagues, friends and family got together both days to really pay tribute to somebody they really loved and respected, whether they worked with her, worked for her, or had her as a mom, which we learned from the son and daughter who came down from Boston yesterday.
Suspect in the shooting death of Temple University student Samuel Collington. Police say 17-year-old Lateef Williams is wanted for the murder, and they are hopeful that they will have him in custody by the end of today. Philadelphia's district attorney says Williams was charged for a carjacking earlier this year, and police have said they believe he may be connected to other recent crimes in the area.
Of Miami. He's accused of following a woman into her Brickell apartment and trying to rape her. This is surveillance video from inside that elevator. This building located on Southeast 1st Avenue. The victim and Blackman, whom she says she does not know, are seen on the elevator together. She gets off at her floor and he follows. The victim tells Local 10 when she arrived to her apartment, Blackman beat her, forced himself in, and hit her with a metal rod, all before demanding she perform oral sex on him. She says he became increasingly more vicious and violent after she said no. The victim says this went on for about 40 minutes before she was finally able to break away and lock herself out on her balcony, where she screamed for help.
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get this over with. Tell my side of the story.
Blackman was arrested Thursday and appeared in bond court Friday afternoon, where he started debating a bit with the judge.
I did not attempt to sexually assault her.
Sir, I think your attorney's trying to tell you not to speak about the facts of the case.
And then he said this.
That was not happening. The victim basically lied. She lied on me.
Well, we spoke with the victim over the phone. She told us that she is absolutely traumatized by what happened. Blackman is now facing multiple charges in this case.
I'm planning to do a bunch of attacks on subways because there are a ton of them lately. So here's a few for now.
Violent crimes in subway. In one case, police say a man tried to rape a woman on board a train in Lower Manhattan. In the other, police say someone stabbed a woman in Washington Heights.
It happened downtown. Police say the maskless man attempted to rape a 21-year-old woman on that Queens-bound E train Wednesday morning around 10:20 a.m., cornering the alleged victim as it pulled into Canal Street and placing his hand between the seat and her backside. She was able to escape. Then another scary incident overnight in Washington Heights. Transit cops on patrol inside the 181st Street 1 train station after a woman was stabbed in her forearm just after 12:30 a.m. The victim told police a man approached her and asked for the time. She ignored him, and that's when he stabbed her. The suspect fled the scene, generally described as a dark-skinned man wearing a camouflage shirt and black pants.
And I'm Sade Better-Noir. We begin with the arrest in a frightening subway shoving we told you about yesterday at the Times Square station.
One woman pushed by another woman into an oncoming train. She is lucky to be alive, and the alleged attacker has several prior arrests, we're told, several of them on the subway.
29-year-old Antonio Egegbara, charged with attempted murder, walked out in handcuffs out of Transit District 1 at Columbus Circle.
Any comments? Anything to say?
Investigators say she's the woman seen in this video who violently shoved the woman yesterday morning into an oncoming 1 train at the Times Square subway station. The victim injured her face after hitting the side of the train.
Of brutally shoving a woman on a subway platform is now accused of the same crime in Queens. Police say 23-year-old Isaiah Thomas violently pushed this woman so hard she went headfirst into a train in Brooklyn. Cops say he shoved another strap hanger that same day early in the morning.
And Sade, that video is pretty disturbing to watch. While Isaiah Thompson is awaiting arraignment here in Brooklyn, police may now be looking at him for more than 1 assault tonight. He is charged with shoving that woman on the platform in Brooklyn on Wednesday. Well, tonight police believe he did commit another assault earlier in the day, and they say he has been terrorizing subway riders for the better part of 2 years. Take a look at this video. This is the push that Thompson is now charged and in custody for. Police say this is him on video harassing people waiting for the train in Brooklyn Wednesday night. Then he shoves this woman into the train where she hits her head. Now police believe he pushed a 58-year-old man on a platform in Jamaica, Queens, in a similar style assault earlier in the day. Previous arrests include stabbing a man on a platform and exposing himself. Tonight, the governor says it is time this serial subway menace is banned from the transit system.
A Cincinnati teenager is accused of saying, "I don't like white people in my hood," right before he allegedly shot at 4 people. Police say 3 of those people he targeted are white. Devontae Allen is the 18-year-old charged in that shooting. He was in court this morning. There he is. Lauren Artino looked into the incident. She learned what may have led up to it.
Police have not released video surveillance of this shooting because it's considered evidence in court. But here's what we can tell you. Neighbors say the shooting happened right around here in the 6200 block of Tyne Avenue. Somewhere in the process of this shooting, a car was shot at. Someone went speeding down the road in that car, and you can see, according to neighbors, the trail of oil that was left behind.
Court documents just released today told us a little more about what happened here. According to them, Devonta was seen on camera chasing after 4 victims with a black semi-automatic handgun. He fired 3 shots at them and hit the 2 cars they were riding in. Allen was heard on video saying, quote, "I don't like white people in my neighborhood."
Daravius Smith making his first appearance before a judge today after the state attorney's office makes the decision to try the 15-year-old as an adult. He's now charged with attempted first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm, discharging a weapon on school property, shooting into a building. Deputies say he shot 18-year-old Javon McIntyre 3 times on campus at Seminole High School last month. After Smith told investigators the 2 had words in the bathroom. Investigators quoting Smith as saying he was not scared but has never been in a fight before, so he shot McIntyre. He ran after McIntyre as he ran from the bathroom and continued to fire rounds at him until the gun jammed. The report goes on to say Smith attempted to clear the jammed gun several times in order to continue firing at McIntyre, but was unsuccessful.
To deteriorate them, so then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight, okay,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages.
What was that Nick Cannon was just saying about who are the animals and savages and shit? The evil ones? Look at that. Some fucking black thug robbing an old 90-year-old man. And it's not the first time. Footage shows a suspect approach a 90-year-old man and steal a cell phone and $150 in cash inside an apartment building. And this is not the first time. Police said the suspect's victims range between 66 and 90. Wow, people wake the fuck up, man. Wake up. Liberals. It's not white people you need to worry about.
White people have not earned and should not have the privilege of adopting children of color, specifically black children. And they have yet to do anything to this day to earn that privilege. of adopting black children. They should not be allowed to.
That could go the other way too, Laquifa.
34-year-old Jerry Robinson and 29-year-old Ariel Robinson, both now at the Greenville County Detention Center, charged with homicide by child abuse. After arrest warrants claimed last Thursday, they inflicted a series of blunt force injuries to 3-year-old Victoria Smith. Smith passed away at the hospital. A foster child at one time, Tori lived for 10 months with Cameron and Tiffany Huggins before being adopted by the Robinsons. Ariel Robinson sat down with WYFF News 4 in August after winning the Food Network show Worst Cooks in America. She told us then the winnings from the show would go a long way to help her and her husband, who recently adopted 3 more children.
You would think that adoption agencies would do a lot better in their vetting process. Black privilege much? Such a peaceful bunch. I feel so much better about humanity now. How about you, huh? Comment and let me know. Next time around, I'll be looking at some Lyft robberies and shootings and some more subway stuff. And yeah, it should be a good time. Until next time, stay safe and remember, it's okay to be white. Later.